Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And the content that I'm going to show you tonight is a little bit of irony, a little bit of and a little bit of Oregon Measure 114. You guys are going to love every second of this. They'll be linked in the description box below if you want to follow along for your own. And make sure, of course, you leave a comment down there so I can hear what you guys think. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Distributing freedom is what we do twice daily, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. And the content today is brought to you by Warwood Tool. Now, Warwood Tool is completely American. They make hammers like the one you've seen, lots of different options, and they're all made in the Appalachians, and they've been made by a family-owned business for over 100 years. Everything is made from 1060 carbon steel. Everything is made on World War I and World War II drop forges. These things are legit, and everyone is made by hand and on time just for you guys. So check them out. There's a link in the description box below, and use code LOA5, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think about these products because they're pretty slick, at least the ones that I have. All right, so thank you to them, but my brothers and sisters, we've got to get to the FBI. Now, you guys know the FBI has had some situations. Well, let's just throw this on the pile because Oregon's probably not going to like this, particularly the gun controllers in that state. The FBI says it can't conduct background permit checks for Measure 114, even if the law survives legal challenges. Now, if you guys are not familiar, Measure 114 was a ballot measure that was passed the last election in Oregon. It barely passed. Well, it's been stopped at a state level. There's been a federal judge who did some mental gymnastics to allow it through, but the state level is a temporary restraining order was placed, and now they're going through the entire court case. Even if it survives that, the FBI is going, I don't think we can do this legally. Woo! Another nail in the coffin. Let's keep going. Let me show you why. Portland, Oregon. As of Tuesday afternoon, the fate of the Oregon gun control law, narrowly passed by voters in 2022 as Measure 114, still hung in the balance. The state judge in Harney County continued deliberations. He will determine whether the law violates the Oregon Constitution, and in the meantime, enforcement of the law remains on hold. Now, this is a judge, off the top of my head, I want to say his name is pronounced Ratio. It's either Ratio or Ratio. I can't remember exactly. I think it's Ratio. But they put the entire thing on hold. So now, what could be the cause here? Yeah, you guys are going to love this part. But even if the judge decides that Measure 114 is constitutional, it could still be in trouble. It isn't a matter of appeals, which seems an inevitability no matter how he rules, but because a key component of the law could fall flat on its face before it's even allowed to take effect. The background check portion. Measure 114 requires that the FBI conduct background checks as part of the permit to purchase process for prospective gun owners. But the word on the street is that the FBI isn't playing ball. Now, why? And I asked Tim this on Second Legacy when we touched on this today. Why would the FBI not support this in every way possible? After all, the NICS background check system is run through the FBI, so why would you not? Well, it turns out that the writers of Ballot Measure 114 kind of made some mistakes, and this is probably why Oregon shouldn't rely on their gun safety laws, or as we call them, gun control infringement laws, to the people who write these things, because this thing has been a horrible, egregious example of execution because they don't have any of this stuff in place. And now the FBI is not going to be able to do it. It's a key proponent of having a permit to purchase. Check this out. Like, you guys can't make this stuff up. Oh, let's see. Yes, here we go. That little word, designee, is a big problem for the FBI. Quote, we can't define the word designee because the only agencies that we're allowed to share our criminal investigative background information is with, in fact, state and local government agencies, Ramsey said. Ramsey's the top Oregon FBI guy. Generally speaking, that's law enforcement agencies, but it could be our government agencies. But in this case, the word designee is an issue because that could be a private party. Now, that's a big sticking point, particularly since federal law prevents you from sharing information of background checks of individual citizens with non-government agencies. Yeah, that's a bit of an oversight. Now, this also brings up something else pretty interesting. Tim and I also discussed it on Second Legacy episode today. Now, In the state of California, we had a data breach because all the state level background checks that were being passed over to the colleges and universities and UC Berkeley and all that, there was a magical leak with all the addresses, the gun models, the concealed carry permits, everything magically, which is why you don't do this, because it's a breach of almost every single idea of privacy. But Oregon didn't do it at the state level. They were relying on the FBI, kind of passing the buck to the FBI. Well, the FBI legally can't do it. So put another nail in the coffin for 114 as it narrowly dances on a ledge. Let's keep going. Got one more thing for you. The Story's Pat Doris recently spoke with Kieran Ramsey, the FBI special agent in charge of Oregon. He said that the Bureau wants to help, but they're constrained by a federal law that dictates which groups it can share criminal background information with. So unless or until some of Measure 114 wording is changed, their hands are tied. And that is the interesting piece. The only way to fix this, because it's a ballot measure, is to pass a piece of legislation through the Oregon House. Things have changed a little bit since November of last year, particularly with Ukraine, particularly with Israel. So they would have to get a law through the House in Oregon. Exact same law, but with changing the law of designee. Or they have to do another ballot measure. Well, if they did another ballot measure, again, it only won by under 1%. With everything that is changing, the deteriorating economy, the increasing crime levels, the odds of it passing this time, it's not as good as it was in November. So that's the big irony here. Is the FBI going to be the one that puts the final nail in the coffin of this egregious piece of legislation? Actually, not legislation, ballot measure. It looks like this thing is on borrowed time. But that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.